and then clap, or should we just do
Yeah,
start?
3, 2, 1, clap.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, who was so late?
Alicia.
Hey everyone, welcome back to 3 Shots of Espresso. I'm Thomas.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Soyan.
And today, I think we're talking about regrets. Whether it be, I think, things we regretted doing or things we regretted not doing. At least that's what I think.
We're talking about just batshit crazy shit, you know? I'm kidding.
True.
So
I mean, you're not
crazy
lying.
shit. I'm not. Am I lying? I don't know. But you'll have to find out. XO.
Oh god. True.
Let's
But
just
I
say
feel-
we're all moist for this podcast.
Oh
Am I right?
god. We're
Please
quenched.
stop right there.
We're fucking quenched.
Anyway,
Sorry.
yeah, I don't even know how to segment this. Like, what do we say? I mean, I think everyone regrets doing stuff, but we're just ready to talk about it.
One of my biggest regrets is being friends with you guys.
Oh my god, honestly, same.
Same here.
Same. Oh, you know what I don't regret though?
What?
Is holding on to Akil's.
Oh no!
Okay. Let's start off
Oh
with
my
like let's start
god,
off
that's
with
a
a
good
really
one.
light story before we get into the depths. I don't know. Did we talk about this already? Do you guys know?
I swear we talked
No.
about this in multiple.
Oh, really?
I swear we have.
No.
Yeah, tell again.
Tell again, and then I will like edit it out or edit in, whatever.
We
Okay.
can keep it in.
Long story short. Should I make it long? I'm kidding. So it's my birthday. It was September 29th, 2012. Because we graduated in 2013. Yes.
Mhm.
And what so happens to be in Toronto was the university fair. And let me tell you, me and Akil, we're not dating, okay? But we had a big friend group going together because we were like, future matters, right? So we all went downtown together to this university fair, okay? And there was some drama. Should we get into it? No, maybe later. If you if you want to hear the rest of the drama. That was really a dramatic trip, right, Thomas?
I think overall it was.
Just everybody,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. So one of the people that like kind of kept the mood up while everybody was like kind of yelling at each other was Akil for me. So like I was kind of like stuck around him, and like he kept talking to Sydney, and I was like, okay, like notice me senpai, what the fuck's happening? Like this is some fucked up shit. So that's bad on Sydney, right? Shout out to Sydney for almost stealing my man. How dare you? I'm kidding. And I'm kidding. We go, and it just so happens to be Nuit Blanche.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we're like navigating the crowds and stuff. And like, I'm an independent, brave woman. I didn't need no man. I didn't need nothing. All right. So I navigated the crowds fine. I turn around to make sure the crowd is fine. Tell me why this bitch, so young, is holding on to Akil's
But
arm.
who wasn't your man?
Wasn't my man, but she was trying something there. Like, you know, like you wanna play.
You should have fought harder. What were you doing?
You should have
slapped the shit out of me.
I should have snatched. I should have like taken his arm.
Oh.
Deadass. I honestly should have just taken his arm and been like, that's fucking mine, bitch.
Oh.
True.
She would have been like, okay. She was so confused. I honestly think So Young was like one of those like lost kids in a like really crowded carnival, and she just like grabbed onto whoever she knew and made sure that she didn't get lost.
True.
Okay, let me add in. You are correct. At that time, I've never really been downtown before, much less without my parents. So I was like scared of getting lost because I was like, oh my god, if I get lost, I'm gonna die here. I don't know.
I'm gonna die here.
To downtown, and I just grabbed onto whoever was there, and it just happened to be Akil.
And it was
like he's the tallest one. Like I can spot him. You know what I mean?
And it was like the latest you've ever been out, right? Like it was the first time.
Oh no,
Shut up,
stop,
shut up, shut up,
Thomas.
shut up.
God.
I'm
That
not
was an
the one
inside
with
joke.
emotional turmoil.
Oh,
That was okay. Y'all be doing this. Y'all doing him dirty.
What do you mean?
we're not doing him dirty.
I'm
He
just
did
telling
himself
it like
dirty.
it is. Yeah.
Well, he's grown.
I have
now.
nothing against him.
He's what?
So.
He's grown now.
Alright. Anyway.
So she
Okay.
regrets not actually making a move. That's what her regret is. She should have smooched on Akil. And I would have ended her
God.
life in 2 seconds.
No, thank you. But anyway, on the topic of regrets, like actual regrets.
Anyway, sorry guys,
Honestly.
we had a little bit of a hiccup with our recording thing. As we were saying, what do you guys personally think about the term regrets? Like just in general. Not I guess not the term, but like the idea.
Mhm.
I think So Young was saying something.
Yeah.
Before
Oh,
this turned
yeah.
off.
So I feel like everyone's, gonna have like a couple of like small regrets they wish they had done. But like for other like bigger regrets, I feel like you should kind of let those go. Like you see a lot in like movies and stuff, they're like, "Oh, I wish I had done this differently, and if I could go back in time, I would fix it." But then you actually find out if you go back in time and fix it, that it would change everything because it's such a big change from your life. So like for those kinds of things, I would think it would be better to kind of let them go. Obviously not all of them, but like for most, I'm not really making that much sense.
No,
but-
you are. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I know
Yeah.
where you're going.
Yeah, but that's how I kind of fall on that. But
I think if I'm going to elaborate on what So Young says, I think when you say that you regret something, it's like a valid excuse. But I hate that some people use it as an excuse to be like, as to why like some things are holding you back in life. Or sometimes that regret like kind of looms over your shoulder. You know what I mean?
oh yeah,
Mm.
I can see that.
And I think that's what So Young was saying was like, if you kept all of this in, and kept talking about, this wouldn't have happened if I just did that in life, and they always pinpoint it because it was always like, we'll get into it further, but I have experience with people who have had it like loom over their shoulders and like kind of made it worse for everyone around them. And I think what Soyeon was trying to say was that like keeping on that regret can actually be very detrimental to your personal growth.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
you worded it better than I could. Basically that, yeah.
I was
Yeah,
gonna-
but I understood.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna add, I get what you're saying. I don't know, maybe it's for me. It's not that it looms over me, but is everything good? Okay,
Yeah, everything's
anyways.
fine.
It's not that it looms over me, but like if I had to like dig through my memory and, find something to regret, like I'll have regrets and I'll always remember them, but I don't think it, as you guys said, holds me back or anything. Like if it was a regret that I keep thinking that, oh, I wish would have done that, or I wish I should have done that. You know what? Like fix it in the future or something. Like if you can't go back to the past and fix it anymore, like there's no point holding it on in that sense. But I'll always remember that regret if you kind of get where I'm going.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. You can definitely think about it. I mean, sometimes like I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and be like, "Oh, I wish I did this," or something like that. Same
Yeah, I
with,
wish it
like,
was different or
embarrassing.
something.
Yeah. So it's definitely fine to think about them, but it's just like if you constantly talk about them, they're like, "Oh, if this, if this would have happened, then my life wouldn't have been like this," or like, you know what I'm trying to get at? Like, you shouldn't kind
Yeah.
of make it an excuse to the way you're living life now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really like troubling, or I guess hard to talk about regrets, but I think it's also important that sometimes like yeah, you don't want to think back on it, but I think also sometimes it's a good reflection moment, and I think that's why we wanted to talk about it, because I feel like everyone does, unfortunately, as annoying as it is, and like no one's perfect, you know what I mean? Everyone is gonna have to think about things that they wish they could have done, wish they didn't do, wish things have changed. And I always find it interesting to see what people, you know, are interested in, or not interested, sorry, that's a really bad word. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's interesting to see what people consider is detrimental to their life. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, pause.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I think one of the, I don't want to say major, but the something kind of small that I always think about is kind of how, I guess maybe we would call regrets. It's kind of like how I respond or how I treat people sometimes. I don't know if like that. I think it'll obviously make sense, but sometimes where if you're not in a good mood and you act a certain way, or if you reply to someone in what seems to be rude, or when I think back about it, I could have been like, oh, maybe I could have answered in a nicer way, or said something different. Like I always, every single time I interact with someone, I will always, especially if it's something somewhat important, or like especially for work, I'll always like to replay scenarios, like how should I present this to this person, or how should I say it in a way where it makes sense, or how am I going to say it in a way where I will portray what I actually want to say,
Yeah.
And I'll go through tons of scenarios in my head, but then after when I actually go and, execute it, sometimes it just doesn't go as planned. Obviously, nothing usually goes as planned. But even after I'm done, I'll always go back and think like, "Oh my god, I shouldn't have said that," or "Oh my god, I should have done it this way." Like I feel like these are like just small regrets. I don't think it's like holding me back or anything, but I think about them a lot, and it happens almost every time where I'll
Oh,
think
Yeah.
can you
before.
give me an example?
Think of an example.
Like
Oh,
There's like
I have an
so
something
many.
example.
you might have said that you were like, oh fuck, like why did I say that? You know?
I don't think it's for me, it's anything that serious. I'll always For me, it's like I think a lot in the small things.
Oh, like the tone, maybe like the way you said something.
Yeah, or if
Yeah.
I said one word wrong, or if I said it like I should have used a different word instead. If I accidentally pronounced that word wrong accidentally, I'll always keep thinking like, "Oh, wait, I said that wrong," or I said the same thing, or like it's just always these small things I think about again and again.
Tell
And
me.
I
Tell me
and
when.
tell you one, I don't even know. I don't have anything specific because I feel like
You
it's
can't think of the one right now. Yeah.
no, because
Oh, it's
they're
okay.
so minor and they're not like major regrets in my life, but they are like small regrets I have in the moment,
Can I
Yeah.
think of
you
one?
know?
Can I say one for me?
I
Sure.
can say one too after.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, this is bad. I went to a house party pre-COVID, obviously. And it was a dramatic house party. Like people were caught having sex, and then people were getting outed when they were in the closet, like deep in the closet. And I was like, I really liked this guy in the most like non like dramatic way. Like I really liked him in terms of like his attitude and all of that stuff. And I was like, I'm really surprised that you're friends with blank. And he's like, why? And I said, and I think he took it in a bad tone. Like, how could I be friends with such a cool person? But for me, when I meant that, like, I thought the girl was stupid as fuck. This sounds so
Oh.
judgy, but like, he was so, I guess, into, like, he had, like, it was actual conversations and deep conversations. And the girl that I was talking about that he's friends with was very superficial. Like she always talked about like she actually told me to get plastic surgery before. She's told me to redo my eyebrows like over and over again. Like that's kind of the surface level conversation slash like romance and sex and stuff like that. while he was literally like questioning existence while we were having this
Mm,
party. And he was like, why would you say that? And I was like, I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like she's like your speed, your level. And he was just like, well, I can be cool too. And I was like, no, I didn't want to talk shit about her because like he was friends with her.
right.
But I also was just like really shocked that he could be friends with someone that superficial, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get
and
it.
I didn't mean to say it like that. I actually meant it as a compliment, but obviously when you're friends with someone, that's like basically me being like, "Oh my god, like Thomas, I'm really shocked that you're like friends with So Young." Right? And then
Mhm.
in the sense, like you can be like, "What wait a second, like what does that mean?" And like either way you can take it bad. Cuz
Right.
it's like, "Okay, So Young's my friend. So why the fuck would you say that?" Being like, "I'm better than So Young," or being like, "Oh, am I just not cool enough to be friends with So Young?" Like, you know what I mean?
Yep,
There's only
I get it.
two really bad ways. But yeah, I totally regret saying that to him. That's something that I always like feel bad. I always think about it. Sorry, go ahead, Soyoung.
You don't have to apologize. Mine is more dumb. I commuted all the way downtown for this interview at this children's book publishing company, and it was
Mhm.
for a social media job, and I was doing pretty good in the interview. And then at the end, they asked me, "So, have you had the chance to look at our social media? And um, if so, like, what's one thing that you would do differently?" You know. But I hadn't taken a look at their social media, and also I'm really bad at kind of thinking on the spot. So I was just like, yeah, I took a look, but I don't think I would change anything."
Oh,
No, yeah. And so I think about that a lot. I was going out of that interview, I was like, how could I not have looked at their social media? This is a social media position.
Oh. Now that you mentioned that, like an interview
Mhm.
and everything, I have
Oh,
one
you
now.
do?
I
Okay,
just
let's
thought
go.
of
Yeah.
okay, so, like, it was basically right when we were all finished university, we're all looking for jobs, you obviously want to do the best during interviews, blah, blah, blah. You're always at least for me, I was, like, trying to be over-prepared. I don't know if that was, like, a bad thing or whatever. So, I don't know if I told this story before, but I interviewed for Mount Sinai, if you guys know what that is.
nope.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
It's, it's one of the main hospitals in
Oh,
downtown
yes.
Toronto. Yeah, Mount
Uh-huh.
Sinai Hospital. Yeah, it was for a research assistant position, and, like, I went in, like, feeling pretty good because it was kind of like a qualitative kind of study. So it wasn't specifically about, like, hardcore numbers, it was more about, like, general interview, right? And that's stuff I learned in school, and I kind of researched some of the research they did, and then I walked in and they're like, "Okay," at the end where they're like, "Oh, so do you have anything else to add?"
Huh?
I was like, "Oh my god, yes." Like, I was looking through the research you were doing, or I don't know if I didn't say you were doing, but I was looking at some of the research coming out of the hospital and blah, blah, blah. I was like, "This one is so interesting." I kinda went in about it, talking about, like, I found it so fascinating, and I kind of like that kind of stuff, right? You kind of try to hype them up, kind of being like, "Oh, this
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
work you do. Like, I love it. It's so interesting. You guys are great. Like, I want to be a part of that." And they were like, "Oh, really? I didn't even know we were doing something like that." And I was like,
Oh.
"What? Oh, should I not have said something like that?" Or like, did I been reading the wrong paper or something? And I kind of felt maybe I don't know if that ruined my chance or like if they were surprised I knew. I don't know how they took
Oh.
it, but I was kind of like, "Oh, maybe I regret kind of saying that part, but I don't know if it should really be a regret or not? But it was just one thing.
Yeah. Interviews are tricky. You
They
never know.
are,
Yeah.
but I will say at least be proud that you got that interview because, getting interview
True.
is the first step too?
That is true. That is true. I have submitted probably about 1,000 resumes by now, like in total.
Mm,
But you only
So
hear
everyone
from
knows
a
your full
couple.
name.
What?
You have over thousands of people knowing your full name and your work history. How does that feel? You're like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, half of them don't even look at it. They just like auto decline me.
Tear.
Yeah, I mean,
Feels bad, man.
for me, I
but
just think of it like, oh my god, you competed with grad students and you got an interview too. That's what I thought, just to make
ah,
myself feel better.
that's true. Yeah. Okay. Other regrets that we might have.
Okay, you guys have
we can-
options to choose from. Okay, do we want to go deep in, heartbreaking,
Uh-huh.
quite moisture territory, or do we want to do like stupid, funny regrets?
I don't have stupid funny ones, sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
oh no.
I have one
Okay.
funny one.
Give us one, and then I will go off of it. Let's go.
Okay. One regret that I have is in high school. I wish I didn't date. Um,
I love how that's funny to you.
it is funny because
Oh god.
No
in
offense to
previous
our last
podcasts,
guest. Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
I'm just the way I think of it is I don't regret it like too much or anything like that.
It's just
Nothing
like,
really
they were
happened.
like such a waste of my time. They're not worth my time.
Okay, I don't
Oh,
mean it like that. It's just it's more of like I feel like I was really immature back then and probably
As we're all.
yeah, I was about to say.
yeah, but this is gonna sound really cringy. I was sort of a heartbreaker.
That is really cringy.
It is cringy, but it is true because I broke many boys' hearts because
Okay,
they'd be like,
getting Miss Popular.
Oh!
okay. Okay. But like the thing is, like I didn't realize at the time that I was actually hurting people like that because they would be like, "Hey, I like you," and I'd be like, "Okay, whatever." Like
Oh,
you're
Did you-
ugly or something. I don't know.
well, I mean, if
Um,
you can't reciprocate the feeling, there's no point in being like, "Oh my god, well, I like you too."
yeah, that's true.
So,
No, but I
right?
think that there was a difference between, I'm sorry, I just don't feel that way, versus, I don't know, you're like really ugly,
You're
or
ugly.
or you like lead them on, or you're like bored, so you're like, let's get in this relationship because like, why the fuck not? Even though you weren't physically attracted, and am I calling So Young out? 100%. She was definitely not
Yeah.
attracted to some guys that she dated, and I don't know
Yeah.
why she dated any of them. So
Oh,
Because
Oh.
at the time I really liked the feeling of someone liking me. Like I liked the chase, right? But as soon as I got
Okay.
into a relationship, I would be like, "Yeah, I don't like you anymore." So
Hmm.
I was one of those people. Very terrible.
shout out to all of her ex-boyfriends.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I just
think you
wish.
learned a lot though.
Yeah, no, like I wish, I paid attention more in school instead of thinking about boys. But on the other side, it kind of helped me through my interactions with those boys to like get better at speaking to guys in general and
Hmm.
eventually meet Nick and then, the rest is history. But like so like it definitely helped me, I guess, cuz if I had never dated, I guess, then I don't know how I would be around dudes at all.
Mhm.
Except Thomas. So I would just be like very quiet and just be
Well,
like,
wasn't Thomas one of your
there.
exes?
Shut up. Oh my
Stop.
god, stop. This is fake news.
True.
Stop.
You're gonna
Start
perpetuate
rumors.
you're gonna confirm the rumors of the dumb bitches that believed it.
It's
Oh,
Dude,
not true.
this is gonna be great for the podcast promo. That's literally what I'm keeping in. Wasn't Thomas
Okay.
one of your exes? And just start laughing and just like
No.
edit words in. I'm down.
stop.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, that's one of my kind of like funny regrets. You could
Oh
say.
my god, that's so funny. That's so quirky.
Mhm.
Stop.
Have you
could
ever
be
regretted
intense.
being friends with people?
Yes.
Don't even start with that.
Oof. That's a big one. I mean,
Have I regretted being friends with anybody? I don't think so. I don't think anybody has ever, like, everybody who's come into my life in the friendship way, I definitely can't say anything because I feel like they've taught me something and they did serve me a purpose for the time being. Even if they did hurt me at the end, I don't you know what I mean? Like sometimes pain felt like it was necessary. Like there's some breakups that I've had where I'm like, okay, that was necessary. Like I needed that.
No, I
And then
get
there's
it. Like, yeah, I
yeah.
get it.
So I kind of get no regrets from any friendship breakups. But if you want to talk about that, let's get started.
Go.
So do you want to share?
You should go because I already went.
Thomas?
Well,
Where were
Alicia?
you?
You brought it up.
I don't
Oh,
have
wait.
any.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. I guess I'll
We
go.
weren't listening.
Clearly not. I literally said I don't have any. Do you guys have any? Thank you.
Thomas,
Wow.
that
You
was
were just
cool.
so boring that I was just like,
I don't know.
okay.
I'm a little hurt.
Anyway, so you're talking about regrets of friends, right?
Like regrets that you either you did with a friend or I didn't talk about that. I just being friends with somebody.
Yeah, I have tons of those.
Oh,
I think
casually.
For me, it kind of started in elementary school, I think. Because for me, my elementary school and middle school were the same school. So I just basically stayed in the same school. So I had the same friends, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I think it was I only became friends with those people because I had no one else, you know?
Right.
And for me, it was I didn't want to be alone because I think being alone was probably a worse feeling, but I wouldn't call the people that were my quote unquote friends because they never stood up for me and they never they would always leave me out of things. So I
Well,
think
that's rude.
yeah, so I think for me I wasn't I didn't think of them as friends and they probably didn't think of me as friends. But I mean at the time no one acted that way, right? Because I don't think at the time, especially as young kids, you kind of can't really conceptualize that whole we're just using it. I don't even know if that makes sense. I don't know if they were using me or if I was using them, but like I do regret it because I think it's sad that I had no one else to go to and I just had to be friends with these people who weren't actually my friends, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
I
that
think
happened.
it's kind of like that situation. People are like, would you rather have be friends with 20 fake bitches or be alone, right? And like a lot of people
Right.
are like, oh my god, I would totally like just be alone. But in actuality, that's way harder than just sticking out with fake friends.
Right.
At
I
least in
think
my experience. Sorry.
yeah, I think the only difference with that was that if I wasn't bullied every day, I think I would be fine with being alone, but I was. So I'd rather have someone there
Like
rather than just
extra protection or something,
not even true. I wouldn't call it protection because they just stood there watching me every single time, but I at least had someone there. It's kind of like a false sense of hope in some sort of way. You know
I
what I
think it
mean?
also gives you that, I can't, if you're getting bullied every day, you can't be like, well, it's not like you can go to anyone because you don't have any friends. It's like one less thing to bully. Does that make sense?
Right.
Like you
Yeah,
can't be
yeah.
like that loner kid because you weren't alone. So it's like one
Right,
less thing
okay. Oh,
to like
no,
pick
yes,
on.
for sure. Yeah, for that reason, I think it was at least the bullies knew that I had someone behind me, even if they didn't do anything, you know?
Yeah. False sense of security is a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, I think that was like my whole elementary, middle school experience. High school, I don't think I regret having I
Did you
don't think I
regret that
regret
beginning
anyone.
part?
No, I don't think I did.
I think they
Like
were really nice to you. I'm gonna be
I
honest.
I think they were really nice people, like, I'll say, like, Rosabelle, like, I think she's genuinely a very nice person, I
Yeah,
just
it was
think
just like you guys didn't click
oh, no,
in the
yeah,
end.
I think we definitely had, like, similar, um, interests, but, yeah, as you said, it's just, like, overall, she was just too much for me, I think, so we just stopped being friends. I wouldn't say I used her because I thought of her as a friend, like, I moved
It was nice and band too to
right, oh,
have her.
yeah, we started in, beginner band together,
Yeah.
that's why. Yeah, but I don't I wouldn't say I regret being friends with her, and I don't think I regret being friends with anyone else in high school, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and should I move on to university? I don't know if I'm going too long
Yeah.
or
No, because like I don't have any like
okay,
regrets that I was friends
sure,
with,
I'll
so I don't.
go and then
You fill
yeah.
it for me. You fill it for me. That's what I meant.
So, I don't know if I would say they're regrets. Like there are certain parts I regret of these certain friendships. Yeah, because I think overall for me, ever since as you probably know by now, I think trusting in other people was such a hard thing for me, especially having basically no security because I didn't have any actual friends growing up.
Like
That
true friendship.
yeah, that when I was in university, it was really hard for me. I think anytime I move to a new situation, I just have so much kind of
Turmoil.
yeah, I don't wanna say emotional turmoil, but I think that's what it
Turmoil
that's what
in
it
general.
is. That's what it is. It's like
Yeah.
right? And I I don't like opening up to people because I don't know if they're there for the long run, and I don't know if there's someone I can trust because I've been hurt so many times that it's like it's not easy for me. So going into university, I think university was it's kind of different because we paid to be there. We had to get certain marks to be there, you know? Like I don't want to say all the bums are left out because they couldn't get to that certain post-secondary school or whatever. I'm not saying everyone that didn't get into post-secondary is a bum, and I'm not saying everyone that's in post-secondary isn't a bum.
Yeah.
But there are certain people that are, but I didn't have that I didn't have the idea that I was gonna be bullied in university. That's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to get at. So I
And did
wasn't
you get him?
no,
Okay.
no, like, I don't think university was a space for people
For
to
that.
bully others because we're all here to study,
The
we're
same
all here to
reason.
get a
Yeah.
career, right? And we all worked hard to get where we are, and we all paid to get where we are. So do you wanna really get kicked out paying like $15,000 a year? I don't think so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I kind of felt a little more comfortable, but, you know, trying to make friends and trying to open up to certain people, I did somewhat, like, developing a relationship over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, especially when you're literally like, I lived on campus, so for me, it was like being with the same people almost 24/7. Like I saw them every single day. If I wanted to hang out on the weekends, I could. If we wanted to have a midnight snack, we would be out across the street eating whatever, Like we would have like really deep moments sometimes, right? So you would develop friendships faster. And that's why for me, like I opened up to certain people, but I think it was around the time it was the last year of university, I really struggled with myself and, everything else that I tried kind of I didn't really want to explain because I was uncomfortable saying that I didn't feel that great mentally, right? I don't think people are really comfortable saying that to just anyone, let
Yeah.
alone internalizing and being like, "Hey, I think something is wrong with me," you know? I think
Mhm.
that's a very hard first step for yourself that it's even more difficult to open up to other people, even if they are your best friends, close friends, family, you know?
It doesn't matter who it is. It's always hard
Mm.
because it's like
Right.
your personal shit.
exactly.
And
So
it
for
also
me,
feels like a burden. So you don't want to add that
oh,
to like their
100%.
shit because you know
Yeah.
that you were in their spot once, you know?
Hmm. So for me, I didn't want to, yeah, I didn't want to burden them. I didn't want to make this a whole big deal. I just wanted everything to be like just go
As
on
is.
as it is, right? And we were trying to plan something, and I was like, you know what? I just can't do it because I'm not feeling so great. And I just gave like, the reasons. I didn't really go into depth about it. And I really wanted them to just, forget about it and just like move on. But they just kept bringing it up and it just came to the point where it felt they were essentially blaming me for why things didn't work out.
Go, yeah, go
Yeah.
as
So,
planned.
yeah, exactly. So at that, in that moment where I felt like, basically felt like shit and I don't know, I didn't know if I could handle anymore, that I just had to leave. Like I stopped talking to them almost instantly right then and there
Like
because
take yourself out of the situation.
because I didn't know if I could handle any more,
Yeah.
right? So, do I regret the friendship overall? I don't think so because
I think that's a really different friendship that you've had for a while.
yeah, because
Like it's not unlike anyone that you've had before. Okay, in my experience, from what I've heard from you.
right. Because for me, it was we developed, as I said, like we lived on campus, so we had that really a lot of time spent together, right? Like sometimes normally in high school you develop friendships differently in university because I'm living on campus, I'm seeing them all the time, et cetera, right? So I definitely had amazing times with these people, right? Like
Yeah.
we would have meals together, we would go clubbing together, we would have parties together, we would do extracurricular activities together. We did so many different things. We tried so many different things, right? It was like a whole bunch of new experiences with these people, so you develop different connections. But overall, a regret? No, not really. Do I regret some portions? Yeah.
Overall, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically it for me for friendships.
Okay.
Do you have one, or do you not want to talk about any of them?
I can vaguely talk about them.
Yeah, like loosely.
Yeah. So I've had a couple. Uh, one in high school that ties into me wishing I didn't date in high school. Um, it's just like the dating part was like whatever. But then we were still friends after the fact, and then they just like ghosted me all of a sudden, and I like did not appreciate it. And then they came back and they're like, "Hey, sorry for ghosting you. Still want to be friends?" And I'm like, "Nope." Like,
Go fuck yourself.
Mm,
you hurt me, so I have like
true.
a real issue with ghosting.
It's not mature, bro. Ghosting is
It's
the
just
worst thing in the entire world, and it's not that I know anything of it. Like for dating purposes, I mean, for friendships, I'm not sure about the ghosting situation, but like, I just think it's so immature.
Can I just say,
yeah.
what if it's ghosting on people go online that you
No,
I
it's
don't
know
know?
it's
I don't
online
know.
is so bad because you only know them online. So like I have a lot of friends who I only know on Twitter, and one day they can just like disappear and I'll just never know
If
how
they're
they're
good,
doing. If
happy,
they're yeah,
any of
Mhm.
that shit, that's just fucked up. It's
it is.
immature.
And I've experienced that more than any
Right.
person should. So it really hurts me whenever someone does ghost me because
Mhm.
I would much rather you straight up tell me, "Hey, like I don't want to be friends anymore, because of this reason," and be like, "Okay, then we can like leave on like
At least you
Right.
know. At least
On
you
accepted
know
some
terms."
terms.
why.
Yeah. Like I don't want to be wondering why for like a lot of like years um and just like be wondering like, "Oh, where did you go?" Cuz it's just not a good feeling because it just constantly in the back of
Mm,
your mind, like, "Oh, what is that person doing? Are they okay?" We had,
right.
like, lots of good memories together. Um, yeah. Oh, I got
And
off track though.
random thing, how
No,
about
no.
ghosting people on dating apps? How about that?
It depends. I think it depends. I think it depends if you're talking about like let's say a Tinder match. Maybe it's because I was in a relationship when I was on Tinder and it only for fun,
What?
obviously, guys. I'm not okay. This is
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Akil's right beside me. He knows all the gist about that shit. So maybe I can't say much, but I will say that, like, let's say you've developed this huge connection with somebody and like you went on a couple of dates,
Okay. Mhm.
then don't ghost. But if you were
Right.
just talking online and you like just matched each other and they say some weird shit, that's fine. Because sometimes you like match and like you were like, okay, this guy's cool, let me start, and then he starts saying some weird feet shit and you're like,
You're not
Right.
into it?
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't think you need a justification as to why you shouldn't talk to that person anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think you could
Right.
leave it. You could just leave it as is.
Yeah, that's a little different
Right.
because
Yeah.
you don't have a connection with them.
It
Mhm.
ghosting with a connection, even just meeting the person once or twice, like that's fucked. I think also if you are genuinely talking to each other every single day, like let's say you're talking to each other like for every single day for a month, even
Mhm.
if it's just online, and then all of a sudden you ghost, that's fucked.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fucked, bro.
True.
It is not cool, yeah.
It's immature.
Yeah. Anyway, I went off a tangent there.
Yeah,
but-
this is like
or a different
Yeah.
direction.
this is about
Sorry.
like no, it's fine. Sometimes I like going off, but I forget that you guys hate that shit. Well, I've never like regretted being friends with anyone. I regret some dumb shit doing some stuff with people? Maybe. I kind of wanted to move on to, I guess, I wouldn't know if we want to move on to like relationships, but I guess general relationships we did friendships. So I guess I can talk more about like relationships, but someone already covered that.
I just have a lot of like point regrets.
Yeah, I have random ones.
Okay. Talk about your next one. I'm voting for So Young.
Okay.
Okay. So all of us got student loans for university, and I remember in university, I would spend my money on the most useless shit, because I would be like, "Oh, I have this much money. Uh, I should use it." So I would buy like a lot of coffee, a lot of food. I would eat out a lot, even though my mom packed me lunch. It like made no sense at all. Um, and I was also really into anime figure collecting at the time, and that's really expensive for something that you only look at once, really.
Mhm.
And you just put it on a shelf and you don't look at it again. And honestly, like, they're nice figures, but like, I could have spent my money more wisely, I think. Um, Basically,
They were really
it's
cute though.
not, they're cute, but it's
Not to
just
like
like,
enable you, but
no. But like now I know better, because I brought some of them here, but like they're just sitting on a shelf getting dusty, and probably one of my cats are gonna fuck it up someday, you know?
Mhm.
So like, it doesn't really even matter. I just wish at the time I knew the kind of importance of money, and instead of spending so much of it, that I saved it and then paid it back like as a lump sum. Um,
Mhm.
When
Right.
our 6 months of grace were up, or even before that, I wish I just saved and paid that back. Because then, honestly, I would be pretty close to paying it back if I didn't spend so much money.
I think a lot of
So
people have financial regrets. Like sometimes you like regret a big purchase. But yeah, like saying stuff like that just shows that like you've kind of grown up, you know? Sometimes people just be like, no, I needed that one anime figurine at the time or whatever, you know?
yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. I mean, I guess I learned from it. Yeah.
Well, most regrets you should learn from it, but sometimes I feel like you can regret something and you can also, I guess, like you can regret something, but you could also like hate yourself for it, but also you take it as a lesson. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 And then kind of bouncing off of that, I did mention I drank a lot of coffee, and I bought a lot of coffee during university, and I was like,
Mhm.
I was drinking maybe like 4 cups a day. You're not supposed to drink 4 cups a
Oh,
day.
wow.
That's really fucked up. You shouldn't have ever done that.
Okay, says you. Um, so then I caught myself though. In university, I forgot when I like caught myself, and I was like, I really shouldn't be drinking this much coffee. So I stopped cold turkey, and it was like shit for like a week. I was dying.
Mm.
It. Oh my god. I had a constant headache. Like it would not go away. It was just like I would wake up and I would have a headache. And I would go to class. I would still have the same headache. Not not cool. But after that week, I kind of like didn't really drink coffee. I'm pretty sure I switched to like tea or something with
Mhm.
less caffeine in it. Um, and then I kind of eased myself back to coffee for that. And
Right.
now I really try not to drink more than 2 cups. Um, like if I have to, I'll drink like an extra cup, but I only really drink my first morning cup of coffee.
Did you forget the name
Mhm.
of this podcast? How dare you?
I
How
still
dare
drink coffee. What do you
do you
mean?
do you drink
True.
3 spot shots?
No, each of us is a shot, dumbass.
Literally.
Fine, fair
Equal.
enough.
But yeah, I still love coffee. It's just I don't want to
Same.
be as addicted as I was before. So
Mhm.
You don't want
I
to be
think
like our
it's
music teacher.
no, I don't want to be like
it
you.
was just so I think in university, it was so, like I think we all felt it was so necessary because we had so much to do and we're, like,
Yeah.
staying up late and blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. So,
I
I know I
also
get
like
it.
associate the taste of coffee with productivity.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
I think like if I'm like, oh okay, I'm gonna drink this coffee and I will actually do work after I drink the coffee, but I can't do shit before we you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make
But
any sense.
coffee in general is just so good. Oh
Oh,
my god.
oh this shit's
Yeah, I
crap.
know, right?
I'm fine, sorry.
Honestly. Um, yeah.
Do you regret any stupid purchases, Thomas?
Do I regret stupid purchase? Um, I don't think so.
Okay, well I regret so I worked at a shoe store, shout out to Town Shoes because they don't
Oh,
exist anymore. So I can say whatever the fuck I want to. Fuck you, Town Shoes. I did regret buying so many shoes. Okay, there was this girl, love you, Rashna. Shout out to Rashna. She was so good at being a salesman. Let me tell you, she did always get like #1 sales, and it's to the point where like I would overhear it. She's like, "Oh, like I like for me, like I always like to watch and learn.
Mhm.
That's the thing you do, watch and learn." So I watched her when she sold things, and then I ended up. There was one time where I bought these fucking shoes that were $230, okay, but the sale was like, I don't know, with Shoonies at the time. How much did it end up to be? Like 180 or something. Still expensive, obviously. They're fucking high heels that I've worn twice for like weddings and stuff like that. And like at the time, it is necessary to buy those shoes, but I wish you could buy cheaper shoes. Like there was times where you can go to like, if you're Canadian, Aldo, Call It Spring.
Mhm. Mhm.
All of those are way cheaper than the stuff that Town Shoes was selling because they were selling like it's like low end designer. Does that make sense? Like it's not no Stuart Weitzman Chanel, but it's still like.
Right.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yep.
Yeah, like we still sold like Ted Baker.
Didn't you get, like, a budget, though? Like, a wardrobe budget?
No,
Oh, really? Oh,
you just called out Town Shoes right there,
yo,
bro.
oh, because
she bought so many shoes.
Yeah,
for me,
it was bad.
all when I worked at All Saints, like, we had a wardrobe budget, and it was, like, a couple thousand. So, um,
Must be
yeah.
nice. I wouldn't understand that. A shoe budget, like I guess they could just. I think you got like one free shoe maybe a month,
Oh,
and that's all you really need.
right,
I don't.
yeah.
There was a time they did that, and then they stopped doing that. They did do that. It was just like
Right.
for a very limited time. So
That
I'm
makes
not
more
even.
sense, though, because you work for a shoe store, so you get just the shoes, and that
Yeah,
would be cheaper to buy.
there was
But
only
since
shoes. What do you mean?
for
There's
me,
no
I had to
else.
rep the whole brand, so, yeah,
Yeah,
a little more different.
yours makes a lot more sense. But I would say that like when the sales came in, and this was the time where, okay, our discount was 40% off, but Town Shoes was very generous in the sense that you can get this current discount. Let's say they're like, today we're doing an all like 25% off. So we can get like 40% off on top of the 25% off, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can get sale on our discount on top of the sales, and that like really fucked me over because I thought, if I'm gonna need all of this in the future, and now I have like a closet full of shoes that I'm not gonna need, bro. Like I don't need that many shoes. Do you guys remember those Kylie and Kendall knee-high shoes?
Yes, I do.
Wore them twice. Are they beautiful? 100%. Gorgeous. Wore them on my birthday. Love them. Don't need them at all. Like, where are we going, by the way? It's COVID. Like, what? I wear like 3 pairs of shoes. That's it.
I never felt that though. Like, I mean, I had sales too, and then I had 50% off extra, but I never felt the need to continue buying from All Saints, you know?
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
It was just like every fit had a different shoe on, and I did have a phase where I was wearing different outfits, and I was like trying to coordinate really hard for no reason at all. No one was looking at me, like.
True.
And I was doing it for myself for a bit, but at the time I was also doing it for other people. So I think it was just, it was a whole mixture.
So your regret overall was just buying tons of shoes?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I learned, don't buy so many shoes, bro. Like, I had a retail moment. Going off of that, wait, Thomas said he has no, like, big purchase regrets?
No, I don't think so.
I'm over
it. I don't think of one for me.
I don't
What about that TV that you got your dad? Oh, wait, it was yours.
It was mine.
Oh,
and I used points, so I didn't pay any money.
Ooh, that's right.
That's fresh, bro.
Yeah.
That shit's fresh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Thomas is even like
his cologne
very
collection.
Smart about clothes. No, he's smart about
That's
them.
not a regret. How dare you?
Because no, like I literally. Nick makes fun of me for this. I used to have a shirt that says "Don't talk to me before I've had my coffee." It was so cringy. I used to buy a lot of shirts like that. Like
what?
Oh, graphic
like
tees?
The one, graphic tees. I was really into that. You remember when Keep Calm and Carry On was a thing? I had a Harry Potter version of
Did
that.
You actually buy stuff like that?
That's what I'm saying. I have a lot of regrets on those kinds of purchases, especially clothing that's trendy at the moment. But
well, we can't judge too hard because we all buy Aeropostale. So,
ooh,
ouch!
Don't do that.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on.
Can I go something like hella Dave all of a sudden?
Sure.
Can I backtrack like completely?
Yeah, that's fine.
Or no, I should.
No. Oh.
Okay. I regret dating this one guy.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna call him Jake. He has the same last name as the Dead by Daylight character.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna call him Jake. We love Koreans. Just kidding. Fuck them all. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh,
so it was the one Korean guy I dated. And I feel like he was just like really entitled. Actually, you know what? I don't regret dating him. I regret getting back with him. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You gave him another chance.
Gave him another chance. So I understand like, oh yeah, like, you know, you learn from everybody you dated. La da 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 da. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have not gotten back with him after he cheated on me.
I think all cheaters deserve to go to hell, but continue.
And everybody, I hated that I was that girl. I hated that, but to think about it, think of Beyonce. That's how I make it. She's still with Jay-Z after what he did. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm not too bad. I'm not too hot and bothered by it. I feel like that means horny. Never mind. Ignore that. So what had happened was, if you guys heard the backstabber story, I caught him cheating with one of my best friends. I don't regret that friendship with her at all. I did have like good times, whatever. But I think he was like, oh, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to, whatever. And like, I was mad at him for like a month or two. I would say a month. Let's not lie. Let's not lie, bitch. it's a month, and oh man, like what had happened was like I guess I just missed his companionship. And me talking like this is high school, okay? This is like grade 10. Please keep this in mind, okay? I really thought this was. I really loved it.
one?
No, don't want to. Okay, so when I was in grade 10, that's literally when I started menstruating. So emotions were running high for everything. I was feeling everything. So when he said that he was sorry, I was like, "Fuck you." And then he said it like 2 more times, and like your love language is words of affirmations. And he would like comment photos that I like. There was a time on Facebook. This is so embarrassing. At MSN, if y'all remember, if you know, you know. I would switch out my MSN display pictures with different faces of myself and switch out my profile picture a lot. And did I do that because I wanted him to notice 100%?
Oh my
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, this is so embarrassing. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate it. But so he made it like an effort because I think he knew that that's what I wanted. To be like, wow, you look so good today, babe. Holy shit, like you look so fucking whatever. And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm not your babe anymore. Oh my god, this is like literally disgusting me. Like I'm literally no, stop. I can like look at my Facebook messages. I feel like his shit is still there, which is so embarrassing. But yeah, so basically it was words of affirmation. It got me sold. Got back with him. And the thing is, he did more than just cheat on me. Like he did some other like really foul shit, like in terms of like I would say traumatizing stuff that I still keep to this day. I don't really want to go into it, but he did some really traumatizing things along with cheating on me. Got back with him just to tell me that he like only got back with me because I was gonna say her name, because it would mend my friendship with the girl he cheated on.
Oh god.
So like he did it
yikes.
out of the goodness of his heart, but he didn't actually have feelings for me, and he wanted, you know, guys at that age, they just wanted pussy. So that's kind of my regret with him. Like I just kind of wish that I should have known, obviously, if a guy's gonna cheat on you with your fucking friend. That's fucked. Like you shouldn't have done that, girl. Like you know, sometimes like I'd be saying in bed, I'm like, girl, sweetie, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, right.
Thomas is over here like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, like for me, I don't think I can. I obviously can't relate to like that because I haven't experienced that. But
Not yet.
true. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't have regrets in that sort of relationship. I don't know if I should just randomly go to a different topic.
Do it.
Do you want to finish something else? Like, do you have something to finish? Or is the story done?
I have like another relationship thing, but like it has nothing to do with him. So I don't know if we go for you. We go for you. Let's do you.
Okay. I feel like this is a whole backstory for me. Like I'm just gonna tell like a whole story almost. I think for me, I think it can probably date back to even elementary school. I think this one is kind of like a regret. Something I regret not doing, right?
Which is what we agreed with, yes.
Yeah. So I think I regret maybe not standing up for myself more. I don't know in what sense though, or I don't know if
like
that,
you have like different fights in your head. Like I should have said this instead.
yeah, and I don't know if it's something I can truly regret though, because I think at the time or at those times I was afraid because I didn't have anyone, and I think standing up for yourself might
Have
like
made it worse.
Yeah, right. Like I think so. I don't know if that was a regret or not. So because I don't know what the outcome would have been, but I think that's true for everything we
Or
regret
you just
not
like
doing.
wish you could have done more for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that
Okay.
leads into kind of I wish I didn't hate myself so much, especially like from childhood. I think I've always hated who I was.
Oh, Thomas, I don't hate you.
Okay, fuck you.
Me either.
But I think because I learned really quickly that people didn't like me and people hated me. And like for me looking at it, I didn't know what the reason was. I didn't think there was a reason because I was never a talkative kid. I never said anything. I never did anything to anyone. So I just thought they just hated who I was. And then I kind of learned, maybe not learned, but I kind of developed that same feeling of hating who I was because of who I was, people hated me. And that's something I regret. I guess that's something I regret doing, hating myself, because it definitely affected how I viewed myself growing up and how I thought about things leading into like middle school, high school, university, even till now. Like I don't think I can help but hate myself, even if it's something I don't want to do and it's something that I don't maybe think anymore. But it's always something in the back of my mind where like, oh, it's because you were like this that everyone hated you. So yeah, you hate yourself. Thank you. That kind of thing. I don't know.
I think you might have just. Here's the thing: people just hate whatever was like. The thing is, because you were quiet, and I felt like they knew that you wouldn't have said anything. You were just easier. You were easier to pick on
Mhm.
because, like, they always pick on the quiet kids. You know, I was at the time,
Yeah.
or
I
the
mean, there
really
were
loud kids. It's goes either way, right?
right. I think even at the time, like, I mean, I did not do anything because I think at the point where if I didn't do anything at all, I would have also been even worse. So I mean, for me, I would say things back or I would do things back, but I didn't get to the point where I was brave enough to like go further because I didn't want anything worse to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I was completely quiet, but yeah, I just because of people hating me, I think I hated myself. I think that's where a lot of people kind of develop that feeling for themselves. It's because of other people hating on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Um, Also not related, but kind of like going on just from childhood. I sometimes wish I didn't listen to my parents as much
Ah.
as I did
Mhm.
because I think
They're not as smart as you thought they were.
yeah, I think for them they
Me.
of course they like came here from China, so they didn't know much. Obviously, they did their best to provide, obviously, but I think in the realm of living in a new country and like growing up with a new culture, new experiences, they didn't know anything and they shouldn't have put their experiences and their little knowledge they knew from what they known in China or what they small like the tiny things they picked up here on me because it doesn't really work, right? And for me, I think it was because for them, all they knew was doctors were like basically gods. Like doctors knew everything. They were so smart. They made so much money and blah, blah, blah. So for me, all I heard growing up was like, oh, doctors are amazing. You should be a doctor, doctor this, doctor that, right? And of course, it's not their fault because that's all they knew. But I think because of that, the only path I knew how to take was kind of the doctor path. So I went into science kind of thinking of becoming a doctor in the back of my mind when I was in high school, but I mean, obviously it changed when I went to university, but I think at the time the only thing I knew was doctor because that's the only thing I was told and I was taught and it was kind of like a dream and it was like the glittery eyes that my parents gave when a doctor was like, "Oh my god, you're thinking of being a doctor? Like that's amazing." You know? But I
Yeah,
wish I
you
didn't.
wanted you wanted it to make them proud. But so you
Yeah.
came at a point where you were like, this is a great place for me in terms of like my parents will be proud of me. I guess it makes money.
Exactly.
So what's the harm? But then you kind of forget that like the passion is missing, and
Oh,
that's where the
exactly.
motivation comes from.
Yeah.
That's how you
Right.
can become a good doctor, is if you truly want that, you know?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think parents forget that.
Yeah, I think especially old traditional parents, it's not that they forget that, it's just like that's the only thing they know, and that's the only thing they will say forever, I think. I don't think they'll change, honestly.
Yeah.
But because of that, I think science was the only thing I knew, and it was the only path I took because of it, and I mean, I love science, and I really do still enjoy science, but I think that closed off some of the other maybe could have been passions for me, whether it was business, whether it was design, like I never thought of arts as being ever an option because for Asian parents,
That's just
arts was not a thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
We would never say that. If it's not science or math, you're basically useless. You're basically shit. Like, don't even talk about it, essentially. So that's
Yeah.
what I had in my mind. And I do regret it because it's just like how much things or how many things did I miss or what were like maybe my passion was somewhere else and I didn't get to take that step or take that path or and even within just the science field, like I was so focused on doctor, doctor, doctor because all my parents said was doctor, doctor, doctor. So I didn't think of all the other
Anything
things you
else?
can yeah, exactly, because science is such a broad field, and you can do so many different things with a science degree, whether you wanna do research, blah, 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 you wanna specialize in something else, but I didn't know that because all I was taught, all I knew because all my parents knew was doctor. So
Yeah.
that's kinda something annoying that, you
You
know
wish you couldn't, like, you shouldn't have listened to your parents.
Yeah, yeah, mhm.
I think a lot of it, it's funny. Shout out to my sister. I feel like she has regrets a lot of that too.
Oh,
Oh god,
yes,
yeah.
definitely.
And it just backtracking a little, I think for me, I wish I regretted not being more outside of my comfort zone,
Oh, yeah.
especially in university where everyone was kind of pushed onto
Outside of
this
their
new
yeah.
yeah, everyone was pushed onto this new experience together, like, no one knew what university was, especially coming from high school, right? So we were all experiencing this new thing together. We all didn't know each other, like, we were all starting from fresh as essentially, and we could have presented ourselves in different ways. We could have been way more outgoing. No one knew our past, right? Like I feel like I could have put myself out there without being afraid. But I think it was because of everything that happened leading up to that point where I was like, "Oh my god, I'm scared," because people like ever since elementary school, people hated me. So I was just like, I know people are gonna hate me. I know people are gonna judge me. I know people are gonna say this about me, or they're gonna hate this aspect of me. They're gonna pick out this part of me. So that kind of restricted me a lot. I didn't join certain things, maybe because I was afraid people were gonna bully me or point things out, but I definitely missed opportunities for sure that I could have, built a passion for or something.
No, I definitely feel you on that. Especially on going out of your comfort zone in university. I wish I would have joined like an additional club. I was technically in a club, but not really. Wasn't like the
Mhm.
gaming one. It wasn't. I wouldn't really consider it like a club per se. It was just like a hangout session. Now you can play games, but like a club where like like an art club or like
Right, exactly.
um there was like an anime club.
Oh, I mean, I had that too, but I think I don't know if it's the same for you, but I think when I, like, took a peek in the room it wasn't a room, it was I just took a peek and I was like, the kind of vibe they were giving me, I kind of already knew I wouldn't vibe well with them.
Yeah, but
It's
like
not
I
that
wish I would have actually went to a meeting, you know? I
right,
never actually
true.
went.
Yeah.
You
No, I get
cannot
that.
make assumptions because
True.
they
No, for
may
sure.
have acted or looked a certain way, but they always turn out to be surprisingly really nice or whatever.
Mhm.
Whatever
Yeah.
the outcome is.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I also wish I joined like the rhythm game club because I knew that was fun.
you would have thrived.
I know I would have. And then as an adult, it's kind of tough making new friends. So it would have
100%.
I
been
literally saw the
really
tweet
good.
today
What tweet?
where they were like, they really, you graduate school and all of a sudden the universe is like, hi, you'll never have a convenient and built-in reason to make new friends again. Enjoy adulthood.
That's
Yeah.
really true. That's
facts,
really,
bro.
yeah, exactly.
Shout out
Like
to Stitchery, but
I think like right now the only way I could meet like new people, like friends, is either through work,
Mhm.
or like through gaming, I guess. Like if I played a game, like a multiplayer game with someone and they like really
I would
vibe
say
with
like
me.
recreational clubs because my sister actually got some friends when she joined the local choir.
I
Don't laugh, Thomas.
Weird.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I can't really
So there might
join
be a
anything like
local
that right now.
like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
She's
Sure.
like,
I would not join a choir though, but
True.
oof.
I have a bunch
Call
of
her
no,
out.
other
no, it's
small regrets too.
Do it, do it, do it, do
I
it.
just, like, speed through them because I feel like I have a couple. They're
okay.
nothing, like, really major, they're just, like, just small points I have.
Okay.
Yeah, so about the clubs, I kind of regret not doing more research into university programs. I think
Oh
that kind
yeah.
of relates to, kind of what I talked about with doctor and parents thing. But, like, I didn't research any careers or programs and things that could have led me to, you know, develop interest in certain things. I just thought, "Oh, life science," like, that's the only thing I knew. Um, I think this one is, like, a strange one for me to talk about because it's so weird for me, but dating in university, I think that's something I regret not doing
Ooh.
because it was
That's
such
funny. That's
a
like the opposite of So Young.
Well, mine was in high school though.
right, but I
Oh,
just feel
okay.
like university is such a great time. Would you guys agree? I don't know,
Yes, it is a good
right?
time to date.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't relate at all.
Oh, true,
You were
but
dating through university though.
It doesn't count.
It does.
Does it?
uh,
Anyways,
Yes.
sorry. Continue.
but yeah, I think just dating, like, I mean, I will have to say chances came up, but I just didn't take them. I won't go into that though. Uh, Co-op, like, I wish I was less like, I was in the co-op program, I wish I was less picky. I don't know, I feel like I should have went outside of my expectations to at least get the work experience, but and it's not that I didn't get interviews for science specific ones, but I just wish I went out of, my expectations. Um, oh, this one. I regret not begging my parents for braces.
Oh.
Because
Not begging.
yeah, because I feel I mean, I don't say it often because I am not that type of person, but I kind of hate my teeth. I wish they were straighter, and I wish I took care of myself better, whether it was, like, working out, mental health, skincare, whatever. I just wish I took better care of myself. That's something I regret not doing. Um,
Not sponsored by Better Care.
True. I regret sometimes I regret not seeing a therapist in university, especially during 4th year. I think
Oh.
that's when I really struggled. I think that was probably the deepest and darkest I've ever been, and I
Mhm.
really struggled, but I think it was the fact of being vulnerable that kind of scared me. Because if I couldn't be vulnerable to friends, how am I gonna open up to complete strangers, you know? So that was kind of uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of regret not working earlier sometimes. Like, I didn't work
Oh,
earlier
same.
because for me, OSAP didn't give me enough money after 1st year, so I had to get the money out of somewhere, but I didn't have that money.
Honestly, should have joined an OnlyFans.
Uh,
OnlyFans wasn't a thing.
True. If you want my, Snapchat premium, look at the link below. No, I'm just joking. Uh, I regret not staying with creative aspects of myself
Mhm.
throughout the years because I dropped a lot of things, like guitar I dropped, drawing I dropped, writing I dropped. actually, I didn't really write back then, but drawing guitar, I definitely dropped, and I wish I just stood with that. But, I'm doing more of that now, which is still good, but anyway, and I wish I learned more on financial literacy and on knowing what being an adult was and how to finance as an adult. Because, like, they don't teach you about savings, retirement. No one taught you interest on loans. And for anyone listening now that's in high school and university, the 6 months grace they give you is 6 months grace for one portion of OSAP, because OSAP is in two portions, Canada and your province, which is Ontario, OSAP. And only one of the portions is graced for you. The other one is still building interest. So that's a tip for you. Um, building credit.
And if you want more, link
True.
below.
Building credit, I didn't really think about. Thankfully, my
Oh,
thankfully, my parents, I don't know why they were like, "Oh, you turned of age? Get a credit card right now." Like, I don't know why they told me to do that, but they did, and I'm thankful for that because I think they knew I was a
Dumb bitch.
decently responsible. No, I think they
Oh.
were
yeah.
they knew I was a decently responsible money spender, so because you don't get a credit card if you don't know to spend money, because credit is money you don't have. You're spending money you're loaning, essentially. And if you're just continuously taking money and you're not paying it back, that's where the problem comes. But if you continue paying back on time and perfectly and lump sum, everything's fine, you're building that good credit. So, I mean, I wish I knew that about that earlier, but at least my parents kind of forced me, whether they knew or not, to get a credit card and start building that credit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then lastly, I wish I knew more about investments like TFSA, RRSP, stocks, mutual funds, GICs, real estate. No one teaches you this shit. Like, no one ever does. And I think that's the game you play. Like, the government doesn't want to teach you this, obviously, because they don't want everyone to succeed. And I think that's just how it is.
Conspiracy, but probably facts.
Yeah, like they're like TFSA. Like, honestly, I didn't know what TFSA was until my parents were like, "Hey, there's a TFSA. You know what that is, right?" I'm just like, "No, what the hell is that?" They're like, "Yeah, that's tax-free savings. You put money in there, you invest it, and all that money you make on the investment is tax-free. You don't pay for that shit." I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's when I learned about it, like like no one teaches you investing, stocks, GICs, mutual funds. No one teaches you that, especially in tax-free, because no one wants you to make money. No one wants you to succeed. No one wants you to
They're
retire
like,
early.
save poor bitch.
Exactly. But yeah, those are definitely major stuff I've regretted not doing. And if I could quickly
Uh,
add in, oh,
yep.
did you want to say something?
No, you
Because
can
I was
continue.
going to move on to something like totally separate.
Do it.
Oh, I just want to touch on the credit card thing. I got a
Mhm.
credit card way later than you guys. Do you remember? I didn't get one in university. I got one the year after I graduated from university, and it was really hard for me to get a credit card because they were like,
Mm.
"Oh, like,
You
what do
need
you
a
work?" I'm
job.
like, "Oh, like, I work this one job that doesn't really have a location per se or, like, a phone number." It was when I worked at the Ontario Conservatory of Music, and I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
moving
okay.
around all over the place.
Yeah.
So it was kind of tough to get that credit card. Um, so I wish I got it sooner, but now my credit, at least my Canadian credit, is pretty bomb. My US credit is still building.
Mhm. I haven't checked my credit because I'm scared. I
Oh,
mean,
I checked it.
it's not that I know it's bad, it's just that if I'm checking my credit score for no reason, that's gonna lower it, so I'm just like, "No, thanks. I'm just gonna keep it. I don't wanna hard pull
Well,
it."
Credit Karma doesn't
Yeah,
hard
Credit
pull.
Karma doesn't do that. It
It's the
doesn't
only
hurt.
place, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done research on it, but I'm not too trusting of that. But anyway, one thing that I regretted doing that I mentioned on the university podcast before is it's not that I did anything bad, but I regretted how I treated my roommate.
Oh yes, I remember that.
And it was my first year roommate. Yeah, as I said, I didn't do anything bad, but I think we just left off on a not ideal note. And I know it could have been better because some things happened here and there or whatever, but I think overall, the way I acted was a little, I don't know, I don't wanna say immature. It wasn't ideal, and I think we left on a not a bad, just not ideal note, and that's something I definitely regret doing, and I think that's all for me, like,
And that's all for me.
there's a lot of
Oh,
small things, but nothing too
yeah.
major. That's all, I didn't have too much regrets, you know?
Okay,
It's
dogs.
just a little cute little.
Just a cute little number.
How about you, Soyeon?
Uh,
Are you all out of regrets?
no, I did have one more. Um, it's kind of a sad one, though.
I can go sadder if you want. Kidding.
No. um, so like before my two cats, Minnie and Moxie, I had a cat named Mocha. She was my first cat or first pet, and I didn't treat her very nice. I would like yell at her. I like chuck her on the bed and stuff when she was like pissing me off, and she would like bite me and scratch me, and I have like a lot of scars to prove that. But well, like long story short, she basically like one day ran away and just like never came back, which is kind of sad.
Kinda.
And yeah, I'm still kind of dealing with that, but my current cats help me through it a lot.
Yeah.
But my regret is probably just not being a better cat mom, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like because we basically got her when she was really young, like 8 weeks. That's like 2 months old. Um, so she was like a baby, and we like raised her. Um,
Mhm.
and we didn't raise her that well. I feel like I've never had a pet before. So I didn't really know like what the do's and don'ts. Like I now know that, as a kitten, you're not supposed to let them play with your hands and bite them because then they'll grow up and they'll think that it's okay. And it's not. So that's why Mocha, you know, bit the shit out of me later on in her life. Um Things like that. Like, I just wish I kind of treated her better while we still had her. Uh, and
Mhm.
yeah, pretty sad topic to talk about, but it is one of my regrets. So,
I I kind of relate in some way. I mean, obviously can't relate completely, but when
hmm
we had our first cat, um, yeah, we found out she had FIV,
ah,
and it was
yeah,
kind of and we kind of felt like we could have. It's not that we treated her bad, but like when she jumped on the bed, we kind of yelled at her like, "Don't jump on the bed," or like if she hid
yeah.
under our beds, we kind of sprayed her with water because we kind of wanted her to get out of there.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, and sometimes you regret those sort of things because it's just like, maybe I should have just let them live their life. I don't
Yeah,
know. So, yeah, I get it. It's it's definitely hard,
yeah,
and
it
it's
is
something we do
hard.
regret. Yeah.
It's just like they deserve better.
Mhm.
I feel like though because I went through that, um,
It
I
made
treat
you mm, a better cat mom to Minnie and Motzi.
yeah, exactly. Because I
Mm,
know like when I'm angry at them, I'm not gonna like, like mistreat them or anything like that. I'm gonna kind of look at them and be like, no, don't do that,
mhm,
or I'll like snap my fingers instead of like clapping because they have sensitive ears. Like, you don't want to clap in front of a cat.
mhm.
Right.
Things like that, like little things. I obviously won't spray my cats anymore. That's one thing I will never do ever again. Um, a bad idea, or just overall, like just things like that. I feel like now I know these are the things not to do, at least with cats, because I've only ever owned cats. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if we want to end off in a lighter note, what are some decisions that you're so glad you made? If you guys remember any. It's not to like bring you down, but
Yeah.
great big decisions or small that you were like, you know what, this I'm so glad I did this.
I
I have
could
one. Oh,
okay. No, you
She's
can
gonna
go.
say moving away from us. I'm done. Bye.
Oh.
No. Well, kind of part of it. Um, no, it's meeting Nick and choosing to be with him.
Mhm.
I feel like after that, um, pretty much like generally only good things have been happening to me. Like I've been able to find really great jobs here. Um, I feel like I don't know, my relationship with my parents got a little closer for some reason because of Nick.
Mhm.
Because they really like him and like Nick really likes him too. Um, so something about that, I don't know, made me closer to my parents.
Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's just been really good since I met him and he's been a really like solid,
Part
I
of
don't
your
know what the
life.
phrase
Like a
is.
support
Yeah,
for
like
you.
a solid person that like
Like a
constantly
rock, an
supports me.
anchor.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
to be
Not to
that
be
Like a
bitch,
shooting
but
cringy,
star in the
but
sky. No, I'm just joking.
stop.
was
But like
compassionate.
The
yeah,
most
most
kind and compassionate
compassionate.
person you've ever met.
But, like, yeah, like, I could talk to him about, like, random shit, or, like, my actual shit, and he'll be like, "Oh, well, that's cool," or something like that, I
Well,
don't
what color
know.
was it?
Yeah, exactly, like, I could talk to him about that.
Um,
Are you
yeah.
waiting for me to answer?
Yeah, what color was it? Did it have pieces in it? No, I'm joking.
No.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like, so yeah, that's one good thing, or,
Mhm.
like, big decision that I think really helped.
Right.
I don't know,
I
helped
think
me I don't know how to end it off. Go, Thomas.
I have 2 on my mind.
I don't
Okay.
give a shit. Just say as much as you
So
want.
yeah, so what my first one would be, I guess, taking the position I am currently,
Oh,
because it
yeah.
was never something I thought I would do because it's technically not related to what I studied, but I think I learned a lot I think I learned a lot about a different type of field, and I developed relationships, I met people I love, I met people I fucking hate. Um, but yeah, I think I taking this s step in my life, I gave it a chance because for me, it was nothing related, so I was just like, "You know what? I'm just gonna take the chance," and I've learned a lot, whether I like it or not. I'll never tell XOXO Gossip Girl,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
yeah, I think that's something I think it was a good choice, you know? And should I go
Yeah.
with my second one, or do you wanna do yours?
Second
Okay, I'll go with my second one. Um, the second one, I I'm glad that I wrote and released my book.
one.
I think that was a really big step for me.
Yeah.
Um, of course, if you haven't listened to the past podcasts, I've talked about it, but quickly summing it up, I think I've always been having a hard time ever since whatever, even know from just this podcast, but it was hard for me to kind of display how I was feeling or kind of convey how I was feeling. So I started writing stuff down. I kind of wrote a note just in my phone as notes, and I just randomly decided, hey, I'm just going to write a book. And it kind of wasn't until I finished writing it where I was just like, I just wanted to dedicate it to people who thought they were alone. Because for me, I've always felt that I was alone, and I still kind of do. And I didn't want other people to feel like that. So I wrote it. And I kind of wanted people, whether they related or not, to kind of understand and kind of just think about the words that I wrote. And I think for me, it was a big step because I go really deep into some stuff that I don't want to say on this podcast, but I go through a lot of
If you want to hear it, link
yeah, if
below,
you want to read
bitch.
it, it's just that you should know it's on Amazon, you can find it, whatever. But yeah, but trigger warnings, I will say that. But I think writing the book was definitely it was a hard choice because of course writing it, I cried so many times. But I think it was for me, it was kind of like like a like a sigh of relief kind of moment for me.
Got you, dude.
Yeah.
I feel that, bro. I guess what I can say in terms of best decisions I've made. I also have two, unless So Young can add another, or she can end it if she wants to. One of mine is moving out. I already said it. I think you guys can understand why. Mental health reasons. No matter how cramped the space is, how crowded it feels, and how, it feels it feels like not a lot of privacy and stuff like that. It's 10 times, let's just say I have 10 times more privacy living here than living at my parents' place, even if it's just the 3 of us over there versus 7 of us here. That, and I also love just the family here is a lot nicer, a lot more respectful, and all of that. So it's probably one of the best decisions I made is just moving here. And a great decision I other made was actually going into media studies. I think always in high school, not to go on this like crazy ass long tangent, I'm not a good student. I will say that. Like, I can't just sit there and listen, as literally during this podcast, I was playing Stardew Valley. They just called me out. But
Yeah.
I literally can't sit there and listen, write notes, take tests, can't do any of that shit. Terrible student. So it was very much like, even just my peers won't say who, won't say what happened. Let's just say I've always been, oh my god, Alicia's such an airhead. Like, she's so stupid. Like, she's just the dumbest person in the world, and it's like, it never really got to me because, like, they're the real stupid bitches, but, like, to be fair, no, like, literally, if you're gonna call me dumb, like, you're the dumb one, because, like, you clearly don't know shit, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, so you think me taking this little test and getting an R or whatever the fuck, oh, you have 50% on that? It's like, just because I didn't study. Or like, oh my god, she only got a 60. I didn't even like study, right? Like, I never studied in school, never did any of that shit. I knew I wasn't going to be cut out for any, what's it called? Asian six-pack, any maths, any sciences.
STEM.
Like, none of that shit. What's that? Extend? What's that?
No, STEM.
Oh, STEM.
Science, tech, math.
Yeah. Got you. Totally understood after.
You're dumb. No, I'm joking.
You're so stupid, Alicia.
So
oh my god.
You're such an airhead.
So when I ended up, like, I always liked English, obviously, and I spoke with my teacher at the time, and she really enjoyed my writing. I won't say her name because I don't think I like her that much anymore, but anyways, all I'm saying is that this English teacher really helped me. She was just like, I'm fucking horrible at everything, and she's like, you literally got like 100% in these Shakespeare quizzes, and I was like, really? Because I just understood English language for some reason, even though I'm ESL.
True.
For a long time, and like, he's like, you literally get really good in pop quizzes, you get good in these quizzes, and you are like, you can write, bitch. And I was like, what the fuck can I do with it being an English major? How fucking, like, you know what I mean? I was literally I applied to like 2 schools that were like literature, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do with this, right? And she's like, just look it up, just look, what can you do with writing? And that's how I found out Wolf Humber Media Studies, one of the best of its kind, because, like, journalism is the best in Ryerson, but if you want to broaden your horizons, I highly recommend media studies, because you get graphic designing, you get journalism, you get photography, you get, like, and hands-on experience, and the fucking professors are blessed, bro. They are in the field. Like, my professor works for the Toronto Star, and whatever, and I fucking love that shit. And like, connections helped me so far, and like, I don't like my current, I don't mind my job, but it's so nice that I have so much experience in that, and like, I can do stuff for myself, and it feels fulfilling, and I feel like I don't question, like, should I have gone to a different school? And it's like, that is the only thing that I have going for myself, is knowing that, like, that's good. Like, you know what I mean?
That you made a good choice.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel insecure in all aspects of my life except that choice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And my relationship with you. Don't worry. Like, I love that So Young's like, my love, and I'm just here just like, career, what's love?
Same. What is that?
What is love? But yeah, sorry, So Young, do you have another one, or did we just cut you off?
No, I don't think I
Okay.
have another one.
And on that really long ass note, bitch,
Ooh.
follow us on 3SOE Podcast on all platforms, especially YouTube and Spotify. I said podcast. YouTube, Spotify, that's where you can hear us. Don't know where you're listening to this, but updates are all on Instagram and Twitter. Is that the only social media we have? Yes.
Yeah. Unless you want to
Yeah.
make TikToks. No, I'm joking. Don't. Wait, are you actually thinking of making TikToks? Stop.
No, I was
Okay.
I was literally drinking water. Please,
Oh,
I was
okay. But
parched. I
on
need to be
that
moist.
note,
On that
we will
moist note.
end it off here. So until
Bye.
next time, we'll see you. Until next time.
Until next
Bye.
time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.